Hey guys, it is Kevin here in Beijing, China, and I wanted to make a video for you today to tell you about the process I went through in order to get my working visa here in China. And you guys will know I lived in Japan for almost 10 years. I lived in Korea before that, and I've had working visas in both places. I'll tell you, for anyone, if you complain about how difficult it is to get a working visa or to go through the process of getting a working visa in Japan, you have not experienced anything. No, nothing. So I'm in Beijing right now, my family and I, and so my visa, I have 3 dependents on my visa. It's my working visa. My wife and my 2 kids are my dependents. When we pulled the trigger and decided to make the move to Beijing and come work at a big school here, number one, I'm going to say I had no idea how complicated it would be to get the visa, so I dragged my heels a little bit at the beginning. I should not have done that. I should have immediately gotten things going, because it takes months and months to get everything together and get it going. So first of all, what we needed for our visa is we had to have a criminal background check, or I did. So I had been in Japan for almost 10 years, so I got it done in Japan at the Kobe Police Department. That took 2 weeks. I had to fill out a form, and I also had to bring in a copy of my contract that had been hired. So you have to prove that you have a job waiting for you before they'll do the criminal background check. And that was free, which was great. It was free. It took 2 weeks to the day, and it was free. Then we had to get medical exams. Anyone who's under 18 years old or older has to get a medical exam. Very specific type that the Chinese government wants you to get, mostly checking for STDs. So we have a special form that we had to bring to the hospital. We found out that there was only 2 hospitals in the city of Kobe that were kind of like licensed or registered to be able to do this medical exam. So we went to Kobe City Medical Center, Shiminbyoin on Port Island, and we got the test done. It was really rigorous, really thorough. Eyes, ears, a lot of blood work. And that cost us, that's not covered by your Japanese medical insurance, so that cost us about, gosh, what was it, $500 or $600 each? Is it? Maybe $400 each. A lot of money out of pocket. So we got that done. So then we had to get our, basically it's this one form that's kind of like our wedding certificate, kids' birth certificates. We had to get those notarized at the Chinese consulate in Osaka. I also had to get my university degrees notarized at the Chinese consulate in Osaka. So I took all the papers in there to the Chinese visa center in Osaka, and I brought them in. And as far as all my Japanese documents went, also all the Japanese documents, we had to bring it to the Japanese Department of Foreign Affairs and get them to stamp it. So they did that, they stamped it, and then I brought it, it had to be notarized at the Japanese Foreign Affairs Department, and then I had to bring it to the Chinese Visa Center. Brought that in. No problem with all the Japanese documents. Boom, boom, boom. Now it's really expensive though, like 50 or 60 bucks a document you have to pay to get it notarized there. They looked at my university degree and they said, nope, we won't take this. It has to be notarized by the Canadian Embassy. I'm like, okay, so I can get this done at, how about the Canadian consulate in Osaka? They're like, that should be fine. So I'm taking days off of work to do all this, by the way. A few days later, I head back into Osaka to the Canadian consulate, which is an honorary consul general with my university degree. They notarize it, bring it back to the Chinese Visa Center, and they look at it and they just say, nope, we're not taking this. I'm like, why? And they just like, that stamp is not on our computer. Well, explain more. Nope, we're not taking it. That stamp is not on our computer. Fine. What do I need to do then? They're like, you need to get it notarized by the Canadian Embassy in Tokyo. Now, normally you have to, if you want something notarized, you got to show up in person and do it. Now, I can't afford to go to Tokyo at this point, and I'm losing a lot of time. So I emailed the Canadian Embassy, and they were very accommodating, very awesome. I told them the situation, that my notarization from the Consul General's office in Osaka had been rejected, and they were really confused by that. They're like, we don't know why that mailed it shouldn't have happened. So please mail your documents to us and we'll notarize them. And since you've already paid at the consulate, you don't have to pay. Courier myself up there, send it back. They send it back to me. Now it's notarized, stamped by the Canadian Embassy in Osaka, in Tokyo. So I bring it to the Chinese Visa Center again in Osaka. I go there, and I've done what they've asked me to do. And they look at it and they say, nope, we're not going to take this. We're not accepting it. I'm like, what? But you told me to get this stamp from the Canadian embassy in Tokyo. And they're like, nope, we're not taking it. No explanation. Finally, they're like, we don't deal with this here. You're gonna have to go to the Chinese visa center in Tokyo. Great. So, a woman at the visa center introduced me to a travel agent whose job it is to arrange people to get visas. So this guy tells me, and this is taking over the course of more days, he can take my documents to the Chinese visa center, like his company will, and I just have to pay a fee. So I pay a fee, they take my documents. Several days later, I get a call from the guy. He's like, I'm sorry, but at the Chinese visa center in Tokyo, they won't accept your university degree. What? They won't accept it. So then I realized what happens is there's two different types of notarizations, and I needed a different kind. So I needed it stamped by the Department of Foreign Affairs in Canada, and then brought to the Chinese visa center. So and this just went on and on for weeks and weeks. You want to talk about stress? So much stress, lots of sleep lost a lot of weight. But yeah, so stressful, and no one could really explain to me why. So finally, I find out that there are paid services in Canada that I can use to take care of all of this. So I dish out about $500, and I send my university degree to this company in Ottawa, Canada. And within 24 hours, they had brought it to the Department of Foreign Affairs in Ottawa, got it notarized there, and brought it to the Chinese embassy in Ottawa, in Canada, and boom, finally, they notarized it and gave me the forms I needed. Now, all that stuff got sent off to my school in Beijing, but by that point, it was too late for me to apply for my working visa and get it in time before we left for Beijing. So then what we had to do was the whole family, we had to apply for tourist visas. We all got tourist visas, came over to Beijing, and as soon as we got here, the process got started. With, so guys, I was being stared at pretty harshly by a group of old people, so I stopped. I felt really uncomfortable vlogging and walking. I definitely feel more comfortable in Japan doing that. It seems like people are always watching you more closely here. But yeah, so finally got the tourist visas for the four of us. We head to China, and eventually everything got sorted out once we were here on the ground, and we got our proper working visa and all the documentation, and boom, boom, boom. But what an ordeal, what a process. If you are planning on coming to China to work, do the visa stuff as soon as you realize it's going to happen. Do it ASAP. Really closely do the research into what kind of notarizations you need for your degrees and stuff, and it takes a long time. It's a lengthy process, so be prepared for that. And also I would suggest being prepared for the fact that it's probably going to be a frustrating experience for you as well. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Kevin here. Thanks for watching. Click the like button and all that stuff, and check out the links below. Okay, one more thing I wanted to add to this video. I know I said goodbye, but I'm back. Once I got here to Beijing and I shared my experience, my visa nightmare experience, with other colleagues and coworkers, basically everyone I met had a similar story. Almost everyone I met, whether they were American or Canadian or South African from the UK, had a similar kind of hellish experience that they went through. So it wasn't just like a one-off and like I was being picked on. It seems like it's pretty consistent that the whole visa process is going to be a pretty tough one. So again, be prepared to be frustrated, and maybe it'll be a bit easier for you. I don't know. Alright guys, now that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. You guys are awesome. Check the links below and click like, and remember to click the little bell, guys, so you know when videos are going to be coming into your inbox and all that stuff. Because I think a lot of people are missing it when I put videos up. Like, it's not going into their feed. That's what I'm getting the opinion of. You know, as the algorithms change, and believe me, YouTube loves changing algorithms. Yeah. So, there you guys.